Hello, welcome to Cooking with Abba. So we're going to make cornflakes cake. Yes, we're using our cornflakes to make cake, which you can enjoy for breakfast. You can use it for a dessert. You can enjoy it at any point in time as a snack as well. And so this is a very simple cornflakes recipe I want you to try at home for the festive seasons, for your kids, Yes, so we're going to use the cocoa cornflakes. You can use cocoa pops as well. You're going to need some eggs, some essence, some milk powder. You can use liquid milk as well. There's salt, there's nutmeg, there's margarine, and I'm using bananas and some chocolates made in Ghana, chocolates for the toppings. Now, I begin by mailing my cornflakes to help me easily mix them up. If you want to have a chunky too, you can decide to have a chunky. Yes, so later I realized that I could have just poured the cornflakes in and then just blended them, poured it over and still bake. It would have still worked. But then to help me mix it up, I just blended it all into powder. And cornflakes powder, you can do a lot of things with it. You can even coat your chicken in and get your chicken like KFC chicken. You can use it for your drumsticks and all those ones. So I have banana. The banana is looking dark because it's been in the fridge for a while. And I realized that it was just getting all soft and mushy. And the dark ones, the very dark ones, were the ones that were frozen. When you freeze your banana, the color changes. That's one reality. So the best is when you have excess banana, you don't want it to go waste. Just do this with this as well. And this becomes a sweetener in there. So you may not really need sugar in as well. Then I added in the eggs, which is going to help bind it and also add the nutritional part to it. I add in some margarine and some essence, and then my milk powder goes in, my baking powder goes in, my nutmeg goes in. All the ingredients are in the description button. You can use any milk preference of your choice. You can use dairy, non-dairy. You can use any milk preference of your choice, evaporated milk, skim milk, semi-skimmed. All of it is up to you. So I just blend all of this to get a very good texture in. Then I'm just going to inculcate all of it into the dried mixture or the dried the dried cornflakes mixture. So what I do is to grease my pan. Yes, I greased my pan to make sure that it doesn't stick in there. Yes, so as I've placed that aside, I'm very much ready for this. One mistake I made was I used all of it at once. Later, I realized I should have just left a bit of it so I could have spread it at the base of the pan and at the top of the pan. That gives you also a nice result. And because I poured all in and my mixture at the point was absorbing it all, I struggled a bit. So I had to inculcate a bit of water in there as well. So that's one mistake I made. I think you can work on it. When you're mixing, try to rather do the dried to the wet in bits or in batches, or separate your dried mixture into two so that you mix it a long way. So like I said, I realized it was just absorbing all the water. I know cornflakes is from corn. Corn also tends to absorb a lot of water once you're cooking or you're working with it. So yes, that was it. And you don't really want to mix this to be too soft because, mind you, cornflakes is already processed. And so it's not like fresh corn, which you can bake and make it very, very dried. So if you make it too mushy, the mixture, you're going to get, very much cakey, soft cornflakes, which is not going to be the best for you. Now, my little nieces and nephews, they were like, they wanted a little bit sweet. Yes, because the banana is a sweetener, but banana won't make it overly sugary. So I ended up adding a little bit of some sugar solution in there because at the end of the day, I was making it for them. I had to do it to their specification as well, but that's optional as well. And like I said, try and then divide your flour base into two so that if it's too much, you won't have a problem with it. That's one mistake I made when I was making this video. That was actually an experiment I did and it turned out good. I was like, well, if it's turned out good, let me share. If it doesn't turn out good, then I can just delete it and then redo it as well. So yes, I spread it out on the baking pan, and you want to spread it evenly because this one, it won't spread by itself. Yes, it will rise up. So it's very good. You just spread it out evenly with the help of this is actually for cutting cake and then serving cake, but you can use it to also level it up as well. So that's what I did to level it up. And then once I was done leveling up, I just threw in, a bit of chocolate because I'm working with cocoa flavored cornflakes, and I wanted to add some, something interesting to make the kids love it more. So I used the local made in Ghana chocolate. You can use any chocolate preference of your choice. I just crushed it and then just spread it on the top. You can use dates, you can use grapes, dried grapes or raisins, anything that works for you. So once this goes in, then we know that the cake is already set. So you need to preheat your oven 15 minutes on like 270 or 180 degrees Celsius to get a good temperature before you put in your cake. And honestly, you need to bake this slow bake. Yes, so I did this for 180, and I remember I did this for over 40 minutes. Yes, you really want to have a slow bake because it was also big batch. Yes, it took a bit of while because if you don't do a slow bake, the inside will be mushy and then the outside will be looking dried and fine, which you don't want. And you can let this cool. So when I do, I let it cool overnight and then the next morning I cut it. That also helps you get good results. And then I just cut it into squares and then we are good to go. Some parts may stick in, especially the middle parts, but that's okay. And you realize you get a very good feel of it as well. And this is nice when you eat it. You can eat it with your ice cream. You can eat it like that. You can eat it with your beverages, your juices. Any of it works. So what I do is that I just move them into my Ziploc bag and then I keep it in the refrigerator. If you keep this outside the fridge, it won't last for long unless you want to eat that within that day. Yeah. So if you keep it outside the fridge, within 2-3 days, you should consume it. The best is to keep it in your fridge for longer. Freezing, I didn't try freezing, but I think you should be able to freeze it and then defrost it and eat it. So yes, I just keep it into my Ziploc bag and you can label it and then you can keep it in as well. And any type of the Ziploc bags that you have is going to work in. So that's my simple cornflakes cake. Yes, it just turned out good. And I was like, well, let me just share it. You never know. Someone would also want to do something special for the kids or for family or for themselves. It's a nice treat. It's very tasty. It's very creamy. The banana gives you that fruitiness in there and it reduces the sugar you're going to use in there. And this is actually one healthy way to also eat your cornflakes. There's a whole balanced meal on its own because there's protein, there's carbohydrate, there's fats and oils, there's chocolates, which is also good for your heart in there as well. So I hope you do like this recipe. I hope you do subscribe, you do like, you do share, and I see you in the next food video. Lots of love from my team and I. Mwah.